Hello, everybody. This is Carol from Friendly Quail. Thanks for being with me today. I'm so excited. I'm ready to be putting this into my book cover, and I'm going to be gluing this up today. And then while it's drying with the first part that I have to do, I'm going to show you, some pockets that I'm going to be putting in it and the decorating a couple of them, and then I'll go back to the book and actually put it in, but this has to dry first. So all my signatures are sewn in, and I've been kind of pressing this a little bit rounder like this because I have a slightly rounded, it's not big time rounded, but slightly rounded book spine. So I'm ready to glue this up now. I guarantee that this is very strong when you get done, because when I made my mistake and I had to redo it, none of this came apart, but I was able to cut my signatures out from the inside, no problem. So I've got it. I'm sort of standing it up in this. Maybe I'll put it in the first one. This is something I usually keep my papers in. Catherine Brown Clark of Sunnyside Studios uses, what do you call it? A napkin holder. But I don't have one, so I am using this. And actually, this is a little bit thinner, so it works pretty good for this. So I need to put glue on here, and I've got my my Fabri-Tac, and hopefully it's going to come out good. So I am going to put it all over this white part here, including kind of wiggling these threads so that it catches underneath them. And I'm doing the whole card because I want to put a piece of paper over it when I'm done. I'm really being liberal with the glue. And like I said, I'm using Fabri-Tac. And I'm going to use my makeup thing here just to kind of spread this along, and then I'll lay these down. One way or the other. So that they're all glued down. And I've got it all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to lay my paper on. I've cut, this is one of the original book pages. And I'm pushing that so that it's rounded the way I want it to be. And now I have to let that dry. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to pull out a couple of things to do. Okay, I need to get my end papers ready, and this one I've already inked, and this one I have not. And you can see it's darker around the edges. Now this one's dark because that's how the paper was, and that was a little bit like this too, but you can see I didn't do the edges. So using potting soil, and I'm going to do this around the edges. Okay. Okay, and then I'll put a little bit on here, just kind of random. More on that one. Now, one thing I notice is that sometimes when I do it like that, the sides of the card stay white. So this is walnut, and I'm just going to kind of, I could use the same potting soil and just use one of these, but I had this out there. I want to get that white off the edges. And then these will be ready to glue in after we finish the book. I think I'm going to make one more video after this. I want to make some faux cabinet cards as one of my journal cards. So that is something that I want to do, and then I think the next video will be a flip through. Okay, now I've got some pockets ready to go. Now some of these are already finished. I pulled them out of my stash, and it's part of my series of 12 days of pockets. This one has, it's a floating pocket, and I rusted the little clip here and just tied a little bit of lace on it so that I can attach that to the side of a page. Now this one I have, like I said, in my 12 days of pockets, and I will put some links below to the ones that I have in here that I'm doing. Now this is a doily. I started it. I fussy cut this out of the text block, and I'm going to leave that. I might put a word on it, like I have tell your story here. Maybe I'll do that. I make my own words by doing it in a Word document, and then I print them on coffee dyed paper, or in some cases eco dyed paper. So I think I will do this. I'm going to open this up while I do this because I don't want the glue to glue the thing together. So where do I want to put this? I think I'll just put it like right here. I think it's so exciting that I'm almost finished with this. My first one where I'm using the book cover from an antique book. Yesterday I had to go to the doctor, just regular checkup. And on the way back I stopped at the thrift store and I found some stuff I can use for journaling, and then I stopped at an antique store and I found 2 books, and I'm so excited. I actually have 3 of them that I bought at the antique store. Okay, so I'm going to put something on this side, and I decided I'm going to keep it kind of simple, and I'm going to put this what do you call it? It's a transparent sticker. I had that started already. These are hard to start. And I wanted to make sure that I had that ready to go. So I sat there with my X-Acto knife blade lifting edges, trying to get it to come up. They're really pretty, but they are a pain in the butt, excuse my language, to start. I got these off Amazon. And do I want to put something on? I think I'm just going to leave it like that. It's kind of pretty. So this will go over the edge of the page and become a tuck on both sides. All right. Now this is one that I pulled from my stash. This is done with a napkin or tissue paper over book page. And this is a cluster that I made in a recent video. And I'm going to just glue this on here. I'm thinking I kind of want to have it. I can go off the edge a little bit. But I'm going to put that on there. That's what's nice about having some of these things done ahead of time. And I think I am. Okay. I think I got enough on there. I love having clusters made ahead of time. There. I see that just makes that look so much better to have it dressed up like that. I'm going to put a little glue onto here to hold that down. Because that was just folded. Okay, another pocket done. This is another one from my pockets. This needs to be distressed on the edges. A bit. Maybe I'll use this. And I have just a couple little things I'm going to put on there. This is another one from my 12 Days of Pockets that I had in my stash. And I just won't I look through it when I have a journal. I'll darken that up a little. And see what might work. I always find something that I can do. All right. Cover these up so they don't dry up. Sneak a little cup of tea, a little sip of tea. I usually have to heat my tea up again because I get busy and then I forget to drink it. All right. I think this particular piece of ephemera is something that I got in a Tim Holtz thing. And then this is a Tracy Fox number. And I also have these printed up and cut out. Okay, I'm going to just put this one like a little bit at an angle. And that one's ready. This one we made on camera, so you can look back and see that. This one, let's see if I can get the stuff out. I put it in the pocket. Is one that I had in my stack pocket, made of book pages from my 12 Days of Pockets. So this is a little cardboard thing. Like I buy these at the dollar store and they're thick. And then you just put them in water and they float apart into 4 pieces. So then I've got a whole bunch of them and I just distressed that. This is what it looks like before distressing. This is after. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to put glue on here. This is where it's nice having that little tiny tip from Art Glitter Glue. And it takes a while to put on, but it works really good. And if a little bit seeps through, it dries clear and not shiny. I want to make sure I get these edges really well. Okay, and I'm going to put that one up here in this corner. Get it kind of straight according to, whoop. There we go. everything here is just kind of neutral, so that's how I'm keeping it, with just a little red and that in like from the front cover. Okay, now let's see. This was a white ticket and I just distressed it. And then I have another one of these little things. Yeah. So I'm going to get this on here. This is another one of those from the dollar store that I floated in water and then dried out after they fell apart. And they're cardboard. And the bottom layer is the slightly thicker than the other three, but not that thick. And this way, if I just put these in without floating them apart in water, they would be way too thick. Okay. I'm going to put this on like this. And then I have a couple of gears charms that I'm going to put on here. I figure out where I want them to go. And that I'm using Fabri-Tac for. Another glue I've used for stuff like this is E6000 glue. Come on, you can do it. When I have it upside down, sometimes it plugs up. But it takes a long time for it to get down to where it comes out. Otherwise, come on. It's still not unplugged. Let's see, I need a bigger one. Excuse my arm. This is like a corsage pin or hat pin or something. No, I got glue on it, but I will clean that up later. Whoops. And now it's coming out good. Usually I keep this here, and that's what I try to remember to put my my pin in when I take it out, because otherwise I lose it, and then I don't have then it closes up. So okay. Here. But it comes in handy to put all my little pins in that I use. Okay, this is another one that I did from my 12 Days of Pockets. It's a folded piece of paper. This one, I had a little bit of trouble getting it up, and it tore a little bit. But it's going to be hidden on here because I'm going to put it inside this pocket right here. And I'm just going to clip off, or turn that under maybe. There. So that kind of adds a little class to that part. something from a digital kit that I have. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to kind of put this on first. So it has been so cold in Florida, and I know I get no sympathy from people in snowy regions, but we don't have heat like you do. We have an air conditioner that then gets it's like a reverse heat exchanger. So it comes down from the ceiling, and it just does not warm up the house like a furnace does, where you have your vents from the floor. This is another little snippet that I had made ahead of time. And I'm going to put that on here with Fabri-Tac. Look cute. And I have a little stamp. My son ordered stamps, used stamps off of Amazon for me a couple Christmases ago. And I'm going to put this one up in this little spot up here. All right. So that's why I don't decorate these until I'm ready to use them, and I think, okay, what is going to look good with this one? Now the last one I'm going to show you is actually a doily, and it was coffee dyed, and yeah. And I fold it. I fold it in half this way, and then in this way, and this becomes a tuck on the side of the paper. I'm going to put some decorations on this part, and so I have to open it up because I don't want it to glue to the other side. So this one I'm going to put on like this. So it's going to stick up like this, but it'll only be glued to this bottom part. So let's see. I'm going to just kind of draw a pencil line. Okay. Because I don't want to get glue on this part up here. All right. And I might put some glue in here to hold this together, especially since it's going to be, whoops, kind of hanging up by itself up there. Okay. That'll be like this. And then this one is just going to have a little snippet on. It'll look like that. Figure out about where I want it. Open that back up. And I'll use my Fabri-Tac. I was in the habit of putting this in my little pincushion for a while, and I seem to have lost that habit. Okay. Kind of figuring where I want it. again, another snippet that I made ahead of time, or cluster, or whatever you want to call them. Make a whole bunch at the same time. All right. So I always get glue through the holes, so that's why I do it like this before I fold it up and put it in. Otherwise, you glue it together. And I'm going to let that dry before I do anything else. And I think this is probably ready that I can work with this again. Okay, now this paper is the right size. And what I want to do here, I'll just kind of open it up. This is where the edge of the white card is. So I'm going to snip this thread at a slight angle right towards that edge right there. And here. Do this on both sides. Let's see where the card is. I'm aiming right for where the edge of the card is. I'm going to snip it right up to that at a slight angle. Okay. And this is going to get glued. This one's getting empty. That's why. I have to wait a while. And then I'm going to glue that down over the top. Okay, hopefully that will dry quickly. Because now I'm going to use a bigger scissors. I'm going to put this at a slight angle here, and I'm just going to cut, knowing that the paper is the edge. So that this is at a slight angle here, and that will help it glue in and be covered up by the end papers. Get this a little bit crooked there. All right. And one more. And this will all be covered on the inside by the end papers, except for just a little bit that'll show right there. Okay. Okay. Got a little glue on there. Don't want that. Don't want to glue that down. Because with the hollow back spine, this lays flat. And it's so much easier to write on. Okay, now, ready for my book. And one trick I learned is to place this where I want it. And I've made it about 1/4 inch shorter. Okay. And push it in so that it's curved into that end. And then I wish I could remember who I saw this. It was a long time ago. You take some paper clips and they were like this, and I folded it out like this so that it's at a right angle. And I'm going to slip the big end get it up just a little higher. Okay. Get it snugged in there. And then I'm going to slide this big part down in between two of the signatures. And this part is on the outside. I've got them all hooked together. Woo! Okay. Again, make sure it's snugged in there. And I'm going to slide this one I'm sliding it between signatures. And that kind of holds that in. All right, and I have 2 more for the bottom. There goes my clock. I usually don't even hear it. We're so used to it. Whoops. Yeah. Maybe I'll put it over here. All right. And that way it holds it, but I can kind of still keep that lace from being smushed that I put in there. Okay, and one more. Very careful to get it in between signatures so that I don't hurt them. And that is going to kind of hold that in place while I glue. And now I'm going to, I think what I'll do is glue the paper onto here first, because the paper will sometimes crack or rip. It'll be totally covered up by the fabric. Like this. Okay, now I want it glued, and I will get this into the groove, you know, where the hinge is. Get that thread out of there. It's stuck on my finger. Come on. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring this over to here. Grab my bone folder and get that into that hinge. and then down. I want that groove to be there. I have done holodeck spines before, but I made the covers. I didn't use like an old book cover. And some of the videos I had watched, you actually put glue in it so it wasn't hollow back. And that kind of defeats the purpose, other than the spine is hidden. And then I've got a piece of parchment paper that I'm going to stick in here, so nothing, if anything, glue came out, it's going to be on there instead of on my book. Come on, okay. Kind of like to use this glue pretty much up before I refill it, so that old glue isn't in there, a lot of it. So it does thicken up. Although you can put acetone, which is fingernail polish remover, into okay, got that on. Anyway, I always stop in the middle of my sentences. It drives my husband nuts when I'm thinking. The acetone will thin your glue down. So if it gets thick, just put in a little 100% pure acetone. Don't buy like expensive fingernail polish remover. Go to the dollar store or wherever and you can buy it, and it doesn't have any other additives in it. So I always keep some of that right in my craft room and use that. Okay, so I'm going to start, and let's get my bone folder. Get that on the hinge, and then all right. Now then, what I have left to do is put the end papers in and get the pockets in and fill them. And this book will be done. But I do want to make that full cabinet card for in here. Piece of parchment. And I'm going to let that dry. And the next time we come back, that you'll see the book again, will be a flip through. So thanks for being with me today. It's a little bit longer because I needed to let that dry in between. So I hope you stuck with me. Thanks for being with me, and I will see you in the next video. This is Carol from Friendly Quill saying bye. Bye, 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 bye.